Good afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Just want to take a quick look at the upcoming forecast and the upcoming pattern. So we'll dig right into this, not waste a bunch of time. Let's take a look here at the first. I want to make sure I make something clear with when I'm showing these model guidance or these forecast loops. These are not my maps. These are forecast models. As you know, I don't really forecast by the models. If I did, the forecast would usually not be very accurate. But they're good sometimes for guidance. But to me, if I'm doing these videos, they're much better for just visualization. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about, even if I'm going to disagree with it or say it's going to do something different. It's just a good visualization. So I just want to make it clear that if you look at these, and when I show these, if they're not accurate, I don't expect these to be accurate. Just know that they are not my maps. They are not what I'm forecasting. They're just visual aids, and that's it. So somebody kind of questioned, I think this was what they were questioning when they were saying that it wasn't very accurate. It's just a forecast model and a visual aid. So with that, let's take a look at the, this is an AM3K from weathermodels.com. And we'll take a look going forward here at the progression over the course of the day. I mean, this is, getting into the later evening. As you can see, most of today, as I expect, is going to be dry. There could be some very isolated pop-up storms. Yesterday we had some things pop up to our east. Today, if things pop up, it's probably going to be more to our west. And we kind of just continue to be in these windows. As you can hear, the dog's in here with me. So I expect most of today to be hot and dry. Again, probably around 90 to the lower 90s. At the time I'm recording this, it's already 88 degrees at 1250. So it's going to be pretty roasty today. With heat indexes, heat indices probably mid to upper 90s again, a little bit soupy. So as we get into, I'm showing you the AM3K because I don't totally disagree with it, although I think it might be a little bit overdone. But we'll take a look as we get into the early morning hours. This is around 3 in the morning. You can see that the activity that's to the west just kind of dies out and it becomes very isolated. The AM3K then wants to pop up around 8 o'clock in the morning. It wants to pop up some storms that it does have affecting Madison County a little bit. Madison County's right in here. But the majority of the activity is off to the south and southeast. I think that's very likely the case. If we're going to get some storms tomorrow, it's probably going to be a little bit of a pop-up in the afternoon. But even at that, that's still kind of questionable. So I've left our high temperature for tomorrow. Most model data has dropped the high temperatures to the low to mid 80s for tomorrow. I've left our forecast high, around 90 degrees again, as you'll see when I show it to you here. But if some of these storms do manage to pop up in the afternoon, then or if some cloud cover from some of this in the morning manages to linger for a while, we could be cooler. We could be in the mid 80s. But I'm leaving the high temperature at 90 degrees on the idea that the clouds will begin to dissipate and the temperature will heat up very quickly if we get afternoon sunshine. So going in, you can see the AM3K pops up another one of these little clusters here to the south. These are the kind of clusters that we were watching a couple of nights ago that died out. And it wants to kind of brew something similar again overnight, but it wants to keep it to our west and again wants to bring a little bit of the activity in the morning. What we need to watch is what happens with this cluster. The other night I thought the AM3K was too far west. That very well could be the case again, where it might be too far west with it. We just have to wait because these clusters are extremely unpredictable. Sometimes they pop up, they hold together and come through and give you some surprise storms. A lot of times they do like they did the other night and they fall apart. That's kind of what I expect to be the case. But I just wanted to show you this, to show you that it's possible. I've kind of had a little banner on the 7-day forecast about possible overnight storms. This would be the kind of cluster that we just need to wait and see if it holds together. I don't expect that it will, but it might. And again, you can see this is kind of the theme. There you can see off of here by Tuesday evening, the AM3K is trying to pop up some more for that night. Again, these I think would die off before they would get here. So this again, just visual aids, and I'll show you our forecast here in a minute. We'll take a look at the HRRR. Just give it this was the 12Z run, just because I'm using it because it goes out longer. But it's the same kind of thing. You can see storms kind of off to our west, by the evening, and most of the day being pretty dry, and then they die off. And then as we go through much of tomorrow, you can see the NAM3 or the HRRR a lot less excited about the storm activity. That's kind of where I am. It's possible it could happen. I want you to know it's possible it could happen. I'm not super excited about morning rain or even afternoon rain. You can see that it still kind of pops up most of the activity to the south. Again, this is just forecast model guidance. Just know that something could pop up in the morning. To me, I think our better chance might be in the afternoon. But the bigger question for tomorrow is, if those storms pop up, how long will the cloud deck last? That's going to have a big effect on our temperatures tomorrow. I'm not going to go into model guidance later in the week, because even in the short term, the models have not done well. Again, it's just visual aids. Again, the HRRR also has some possible storm activity. You can see it's farther east. This is, to me, if this is going to happen overnight, tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, to me, the HRRR might be a little closer on the idea of this cluster being a little farther east. We'll have to wait and see what happens with it. Kind of wanted to take a look at this. Was from the other night, and this was around midnight, and the storms were starting to develop well. We started getting around. This is at 2:14 a.m. and you can see that cluster had developed a good bow. That was the kind of thing we were watching for. But then, by the time we hit 6:10 in the morning, it had all but vanished. So that's the kind of the questionable thing with these. There's no way to know for sure whether they're going to hold together. They're kind of wind driven, and they're very dependent on just finding a source of energy somewhere. If that energy dies off, and a lot of times it will in the mornings, what you see is around sunshine or sunrise, the sun starts to shine across the tops of the clouds and kind of warms the atmosphere above, and they need some of that cool above to help fuel them and help create the convection. You get the lift from the surface. It needs to get up into some colder air, condense the moisture to allow it to fall as rain or hail. And a lot of times around sunrise, you begin to lose that dynamic because the upper atmosphere then begins to warm. So that's kind of what makes these things so questionable, but once in a while they hold together. So that's kind of what we're keeping an eye on to see. We'll update this tomorrow, see what happens, how things look tomorrow. But that's kind of what I'm watching right now. Like I said, I'm not going to go into model data later in the week because it's extremely questionable on what could happen. So a couple other things I just want to take a look at. What I tend to watch more is satellite. You can see this low pressure out here to the west kind of spinning up, and you wait and see if I can kind of see. Let me go to zoom in. You can kind of see these types of clusters or pieces of energy is kind of want to develop and dive off to the south. That's the kind of thing we're going to watch and see as this low moves to the northeast. Will another one of these kind of break off and dive through? Just have to wait and see what happens. We're kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature. Obvious, we don't make the weather. We just try to that's why it's forecasting. It's kind of an educated prediction. We don't make the weather. Sometimes people get mad when things don't happen. We don't make the weather. Nobody does. So this is kind of, again, a look, and You can kind of see the storms starting to pop up way back out to the west. We do expect these will die off later on in the day. But again, we'll watch and see if another one of these kind of waves will develop overnight into the morning, and again, Monday night into Tuesday morning. We'll just wait and see what happens. That's all we can do. So with that, let me take show you what the forecast is going to be. I've not posted this to social media yet. I've not even uploaded it to the website yet. So you're getting an early look at the upcoming forecast. Again, there are a lot of icons on here, a lot of storm icons, but really Thursday night into Friday looks like it's going to be our best chance for some storm activity, for some more widespread. But even at that, these fronts tend to show up from a distance, and as they get closer, they don't really pan out. So we'll wait and see. But to my eye, the best chance for widespread rain is going to come Thursday night into Friday morning. A lot of Thursday is probably even going to be dry the way it looks now. So I've kind of bumped up the high temperature up over 90 again for Thursday. We'll see this quick cool down toward the end of the week. Friday will be more storm-induced cooling if the storms pan out. Saturday and Sunday will cool down very briefly, and I expect us to heat right back up next week, probably upper 80s to around 90 again. And then we'll continue to watch see what happens with the cool shot around the 20th to 25th time frame that we've been watching. It could be more significant. However, the Atlantic and the MCWU is in a phase that's conducive to tropical activity in the Atlantic, and we're beginning to see some of that pop up. So as we've seen before, tropical systems, depending on where they go, can affect what happens. So that cool down around the 20th, 25th, I do still expect it. It's just a matter of how intense it's going to be. So we've kind of been on this roller coaster up and down, and that looks like it's going to continue for a little while longer. We'll probably warm up again behind that cool shot to close out August, begin September. I expect us to warm up again. Then I kind of question if that will be the last real shot of heat. We're always good for one quick hitter in September or October. I kind of question, though, as far as these 5-6 day stretches of heat, if the end of August, beginning of September might not be the end of that. And for fall weather to kind of come in on time. We'll wait and see. It's still a long way out. The tropics can affect that, obviously, but that's just kind of where my thoughts are right now. So I'm starting to ramble. I'm not going to drag this out any farther again. We're just going to wait and see. Again, I've left the high tomorrow, just to repeat one more time. I've left the high around 90 degrees tomorrow. If storms pop up, or if the cloud deck from other storms kind of lingers, it could be cooler. But I'm not going to forecast that. That's a big if. So I'll leave it at 91, and you can be pleasantly surprised if we only end up in the 80s. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to do this quick video, give you a look. I would be remiss if I did not go to and point you to madcoweather.com, to the support page. I've had quite a few people come through, a couple in big ways. So at the moment, I'm inclined to stretch out, one more month and see if it's just a flash in the pan like it was last year, or if the support is more sustained. So if you can go to our support page, and you can click on here, do a one-time donation. Monthly pledges are extremely helpful because that's income that I know is coming. So those are very helpful. So if you can go and pledge, I've had a couple of people pledge $1 a month. And don't feel bad about that, because we got thousands of people following. If everybody does $1 a month, that ends up being huge and allows us to do some bigger things. So definitely go there, support us. Facebook Pay is still an option. I'll make that. I'll put that link in our post this evening. PayPal to AndersonINWX@gmail.com. That's still an option, and I'm probably going to create a Cash App and maybe a Zelle. That way, some people have some other options. If you want to mail a check, I've had a couple of people want to do that. And just let me know, send a DM to the weather page, and I'll send you the address. and that's obviously in any whatever works for you. Just let me know. So with that, I will sign off. Thank you so much for your support, and like I said, I'm inclined right now with what's happened over the last few days to keep it going for another month and see if it's sustained or not. So with that, again, thank you so much, and this is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.